We continue our live coverage, Big 12 Media Days. It is Arizona's turn with us, the Wildcats, and Brent Brennan, year 2 as head coach in Tucson. He's got one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in the conference, maybe in the country. No, Fafita, he returns, as is Brent Brennan, who was kind enough to join us here on set, year 2. Coach, great seeing you, great talking to you. We saw you at dinner last night, so we knew we'd be having some fun with you today. How's your 24 hours been or so, or 12 hours been so far in Frisco?
It's been great.
Yeah.
This has been a great job, great facility. I think the ease of like moving through the hotel and getting everybody through and all the players and coaches and getting to meet all the media, it's been awesome.
I've always entertained to talk to second-year head coaches because I find so much changes between year 1 and year 2.
Right.
So from that perspective, as we sit here today, how much has changed since you've taken the job in year 1 and year 2?
I mean, I think it's night and day. I mean, I really think as I'm looking at it, one of the challenges when we first got there is the portal created by Jed's departure. So you have like a 30-day portal there. Then you're getting ready for spring practice. Then you got another portal at the end of spring practice. And so I felt like we spent the first 6 months on the job, like kissing everyone's ass, asking them to stay.
Yeah.
And it was like just a horrible foundation for what we're trying to get done there. The second year, we just feel much more stable in it. I think because of that, like a lot of the players chose to stay, our retention's been high.
Good.
And then also kind of the acquisition of like new talent's been really positive. So we're in a great spot.
I love that you said that too, because sorry to interrupt, but when you get year 1, you're right. You're coming in, you're like, who's here? Who's there?
Right.
Year 2, it's like, all right, here's what I'm about. Here's what our program's about. Your quarterback stays was a big get for you, but now you can kind of sink your teeth into what you believe the job is in Tucson.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a special place, and I think it's got an opportunity to be incredible for college football because we have a fan base and like a city that's kind of baked into this like we're it, right?
Yeah.
Like the University of Arizona in the city of Tucson is it, and so we have this incredible fan base that we need to do the best job of engaging and then putting a product on the field they're excited to come watch.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge ahead.
And I think, too, one thing back to your original point, at that time when Jed left and you take over, there's only 3 schools you can recruit from. You got Alabama because of Kalen, you got Washington because of Kalen, and then you got Michigan because of Harbaugh. I mean, so you're in like an impossible spot.
Right.
So I completely understand the challenges. I don't think people are recognizing that enough. And you look, too, though, at the personnel that was lost. Ted McMillan was unbelievable. I mean, just what an incredible player. How do you try to replace his productivity on the outside?
Well, I think it's going to be, one of the things that I felt like we were missing a year ago is I felt like we were missing some people on the other side of T-Mac. Like we needed to have more, we needed more speed. And I think we've added that in the offseason. We've added 5 guys that run 10-6, 10-5, 10-4, and so like we just needed more heat. And that is one of the reasons T-Mac was incredibly productive. What a great player. What a great human being. And we're so excited for what he's going to do in the NFL. But I'm excited to see what this receiver group does as a collective in the Seth Doege offense. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that soon enough. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, you just teed up my question. That's exactly where I was going.
Segue.
There
we go.
I'm curious. You made some coordinator changes, but specifically on the offensive side, why Seth Doege?
I think Seth Doege, from the moment I met him when he came and spent some time with us, I was just really impressed with the energy he brought and just kind of the conversation had incredible juice, which I'm looking for high energy guys. Like that's a big part of who I am, and I need to work with guys that can feed off each other that way. But then also when we started talking about the football, when we started talking about what we were trying to build at Arizona, I also thought it was interesting to hear an air raid guy talk about, hey, last year at Marshall, we found some real success running the ball, and I had never heard an air raid guy talk that way, right? Like, because I was just, in my mind, I was like, okay, how do you win games late in the season? You got to be able to run the football, right? And so talking to Doege and talking about the championship run they went on last year at Marshall, like his ability or his willingness to adapt the scheme to fit the personnel is what really solidified it for me.
And you go back to Arizona's history on offense that you guys would trot out running backs for years. I don't know, there's Trung candidates, one of them comes to mind, one of those games. Like these guys that come out, and it's like you can do all you want, but if you can't run the ball in this, we've been talking to coaches all morning that love throwing the ball, but as you know, like that's all well and good, but you got to run the ball just as well.
That's right.
So when you look at now where you guys are headed, you've got stability. You've got your quarterback. What do you believe is next?
I think the next step for us is to, as I look at the kind of changing landscape of college football, it's going to be how do we build a more connected, a more committed team?
Yeah.
Like how are we tougher than the people we play? I really think that's going to be the kind of the separating factor in college football going forward because everybody has some variation of NIL or rev share. Like everybody has somewhere in that kind of window, right? So whatever that is, like, okay, how do we build the best team we can at the University of Arizona? And I think we've had really good momentum in recruiting this offseason. It started with the portal, coming out of the season, and then kind of moving into spring practice, and now kind of summer workouts and finishing up the spring recruiting period. So I love where we're at, and I think that this team is poised to do something really cool. And I think when you be around our team, be around the players, spend some time talking to them, their belief in each other, their belief in our process is what really stands out.
And I know this is blasphemous sitting up here on the set, and I don't want to make the comparison, but could you model, like Arizona State last year was picked to do nothing.
Yep.
They go on a run and win the conference.
Yep.
Can you have that kind of team in year two where people aren't looking much at it, but you know what's going on in those doors?
I think if you're not playing in this conference looking to play for the conference championship, like you're full of it and you're cheating your team. I mean, that should be the goal every year. You know what I mean? And I think what the school up north did last year was you got to respect it. I think it's really plain and simple. Like, our fans don't like hearing me say that, but I can respect it because what they did was hard to do, right? That's what we're trying to do. And so, as we look at what they did or what other teams did, that's one of the things I love about the Big 12 is I do think anyone has a chance to win it.
Yeah, and you have the key component that can get you there in your quarterback,
right.
Noah Fifita. And I'm curious about that. 2 seasons ago, just lit it up. Stepped in there, started, and led double-digit wins. Last season, seems like he kind of took a step back. What have you seen out of him this spring and this offseason?
Well, just seeing him attack his process of development, I think Coach Daigie's been critical for him. And I think in defense of Noah Fifita, I think as I look back to last year, we didn't run the ball well enough to protect him like they did the year before, and we didn't just protect him well enough. And I think those things are simple. And I think what we talked about earlier, not having enough people opposite T-Mac to kind of offset that coverage and people pushing so much to him impacted that. But I believe in Noah Fifita, and I know our fan base does too. And you're going to see exciting things from him with Coach Daigie.
Yeah, I look forward to watching him. I know he's a fun guy to watch. When he's on, he's going for sure. Schedule. I'm sure year one in the league, you're drinking through a fire hose, learning the opposition, retaining your players, trying to figure out who does what. And this is a league where you just see so much variety. I mean, it's unbelievable. Some teams are 21, some teams are 12, a lot of teams are 11, some teams are 1. They're all over the place. So now looking at the schedule, do you feel now that you're better prepared to kind of navigate knowing the opponent a little better than you did last year?
I think that gives us a chance to, and I think that's all part of it, right? Like stepping into a new conference, it's not just new scheme and new coaching staff that you're going head-to-head with, it's also new venues, right? And that's part of it. That's something that's so interesting is you're traveling to these places, and I think it's exciting for our players to get to see some new places this season. We're going on the road. We've got a couple tough ones, late in the year, but I do think it gives us a better chance because at least we have some familiarity with it.
And 5 of the first 6 at home.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great jumping off point for you,
Amen. Yes.
The schedule makers liked you. When you look now, top to bottom, we've asked all the coaches this because we could sit up here and make a case for anybody winning this league. How would you assess the Big 12 top to bottom?
I think this is the deepest conference in college football. I really believe that. And I think, in some of the other conferences, I think you have some people that are kind of always at the top of the food chain. You know what I mean? Where this one, what we talked about a minute ago, like the team up north, they just proved that you can go start at the bottom and find a way to finish at the top. And I think that's what makes it an exciting brand of football.
By the way, are you proud? Like, we just sat here. You just had a conversation with 2 Sun Devils, and it was so cordial. Greg, are you proud of us?
No, actually, because you asked a question about the Sun Devils in the actual interview process.
We were talking about the conference championships.
Which is fine. I got your back, Coach. I'll keep them in line.
Coach, we're looking forward to it. Good luck in year 2. It's an exciting brand of football. We hope things go well for you down at Tucson. Oswald, are you good?
I'm good.
All right,
the team down south.
Brent Brennan, head coach, U of A. Coach, thank you so much for spending time. Continued success with you. Good luck this way.